Hello everyone, hope you're well. I thought I'd do a Friday video for once because basically my family are all out and I'm just sat here mulling away on my own doing nothing. I also need to clarify some mistakes that I made on my last video that have kind of been eating at me a little bit because I feel bad for getting it wrong. Some people said to me that where I'd said that schools get £6,000 and then EHCP bumps it up to 10, I was way off on that. It turns out schools actually get 3,300 roughly per child, and then it's topped up from there based on what the child needs. What blows my mind about the whole EHCP thing and makes me more worried about my point being that I don't know if the school can cope is that if Ollie is given an EHCP, the school will have to find £6,000 to replace the 3,300 they're spending themselves. Like, that comes out of their budget. They're told spend £6,000 on this child instead of the 3,300 that we gave you, and then you will get another 4,000 on top. From what I understand as well, they don't actually get that right away. They could say, yep, EHCP, jobs are good, and then it could take a year or more for him to actually get the top up 4,000, whilst the school will be told you have to find the other three, and well, just under 3 to top up. It just blows my mind a little bit. I was chatting to someone about it and I was asking questions. It's hard to kind of communicate over social media about it clearly. But again, and I'm not going to make any bold statements that are facts, but if I understand this right, it's basically suggesting that the school almost have to find the funding they get for somebody else to put towards one kid instead of 2 kids. So, effectively, if they had, 5 kids with that, that's the equivalent of 10 kids funding, and it kind of spirals, as you can imagine, out from there. They also pointed out that there are lots of examples where children could have ailments and problems and issues that don't qualify, but still need around-the-clock attention that could cause more strains on the funding and so on and so forth. And it just sounds like a minefield. I don't know how they cope. And I know, like, often in my videos, I sound like I'm complaining about the school's approach. I'm not really. Like, the only times I complain about their approach is when they make a personal decision to do something and it could have been handled a different way. Not, I've never had a problem with their funding or their approach to just generally balancing it. Obviously, it's hard, but it's not their fault it's hard. And it's really interesting, and one of the things I want to talk about on this video, now I've clarified that mistake, I understand why I made that mistake, because I knew about the £6,000 part from the school and the 4,000 top up. I just didn't realise that the first bit, they were given the 3 and a bit. I thought the 6 was just a given that they already had. I'm mortified that I got that wrong, so I hope you've all seen that and can understand where I went wrong on that. The other bit though, the bit that's hard, the bit that's difficult is the half days, obviously, because Claire's mum can't have him every day and it's a big strain on her. They're in their 70s, our parents, and they find it really tiresome trying to balance it all and help us out, and they do so much to help us. But equally, we can't afford to just halve our jobs. It just wouldn't work. We've got a mortgage to pay, we've got bills to pay and everything, so we're screwed if we try to do that. So we're trying to balance it all. And we've started talking to a child, it's like their exact name I wrote down was Alpha Autism Care. They're a local autism care group that is run by a registered nurse. She works in London, and basically she just sounds ridiculous. Like, she come to visit us and we were chatting about what we needed, and she said what they do is they seek out registered people who can do the work for us. They can come and they can pick Ollie up from school, watch him, teach him, take him out, bring him home, that sort of thing. Just generally help us out, and it generally costs around the same as a childminder would have costed. It's not ideal. We still have to try and balance that, but it's achievable. It's like a very affordable version of having, like, a rich person would have a nanny. You would just pick them up and Mary Poppins would just be taking them around the place, and it'd be brilliant. We haven't succeeded in finding someone yet, but we're talking to them about it. But what was surprising about that interaction was she came in and she talked to us a bit, and she mentioned that this is quite a common thing, and it's what made her set up Alpha Autism, because she had the same issue with her, I think it's her daughter when she was younger. Her daughter's an adult now, and they're working together with this to try and make a difference, and really cool stuff. And then I was talking to my friends about it on Facebook chat, my group where we talk about Pokemon Go and everything. We've grown into, we're all parents. We talk about kids stuff in there. And I mentioned that school had invited me to a meeting on Monday. They've asked me to come to a meeting on Wednesday as well. I was in an absolute panic because I was thinking, I got to I've got to take time out on Monday to go to like a 2-hour meeting. And then I've got to take time out on Wednesday to go and talk to the educational psychologist about, and these both are really important. But I've also got to try and balance the half days. And I was supposed to be working on my stuff at work. Basically, I'm working for a company that can't afford to just stop. It's not like, if I'm not there turning my bits, other people are affected. It spirals on and on and on, and we all don't earn, and it's all affected. So it's all a bit, it was getting stressful. I was talking to them about it. And then randomly, one of them sent me a link to the Peterborough Telegraph, talking about a big protest that was happening in Peterborough by a group called SEND National Crisis. Sorry, I wrote notes down. They were doing a big protest in the middle of Peterborough, ranting about the fact that there is an SEND support crisis in schools across Cambridgeshire, across the country. Apparently loads of cities are having these protests happen. And I'm reading through it. And a spokesperson for the protest was saying, I work with, I'm talking to lots of families at the moment. I've got several families where their children are at school. The school can't cope. They're having to go down to half days because the school literally can't manage with it and the parents can't manage with it. And they're absolutely stuck. And I'm reading through it and I'm reading the points that the person was making. And I jokingly sent it to Claire going, this isn't you, is it? Like, this reads a lot like you're saying, we're stuck, this is a problem, blah, 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 our situation. And she goes, no, it's not me, but it is the lady who was round our house the other day helping us with our issue. She's obviously, she lives in Peterborough. It was her. She was basically just talking about the fact that she works with, or she's met with several families where their children have been sent, And I was just reading through it thinking, bloody hell, she's, like, I know she's not specifically describing us, and I'm not trying to act like, we were mentioned, but we are specifically in the group of people that she's talking about. She's met us, she's talked to us about it, she's heard our plight, she's trying to help us with it, and she was protesting on our behalf. And I was well chuffed. I looked at it and I was just like, this is ridiculous. I didn't realise it was that common. And obviously I knew it was common, but I didn't realise it was at that kind of breaking point. And it's really interesting seeing them. Basically, at the moment, they're trying to protest to say, and this is, I don't want to get all political and say it's this party or that party or these people or those. They're trying to just say, look, this needs a better answer. And they're right, it does. And interestingly, Cambridgeshire have announced they've got an SEND specialist coordinator post they've opened up to try and hire someone. I'm not sure how much benefit that'll be in our situation because, yes, Oliver's school is over there, but we live over here. So I'm intrigued to see what will happen. Maybe we'll get the best of it. Maybe we'll benefit from the fact that we live on the border and he goes there, that the school will be able to tap into whatever the outcomes of this ends up being. But it sounds quite reassuring that some stuff's going on. I said to Claire, can you get down there? Because it was Friday and she was off, but she was taking Ollie to his friends. They had their hangout sessions, so she didn't get to go. But she said he had a fantastic session. I can't remember if I had to cover that in the video. He was really good, behaved, enjoyed it. I say behaved, I don't mean that. I hate saying that, behaved. Didn't get overwhelmed, didn't have any issues while he was there. He was comfortable, he was happy, he was joyous. I really need to beat myself out of saying behaved because that is not the issue. He behaves extremely well. I feel so bad for him. He's such a well-behaved child. It's just that he gets overwhelmed and upset and wants to get away from it, and that is genuine. I'm not just saying it because I want to be some namby-pamby parent who thinks the sun shines out of his backside. He's very, very, very well behaved. He doesn't think he is, and I keep trying to drum it into him that he genuinely is. He just can't handle the situations that he comes across. So we were very pleased. I said to Claire, was he all right, leave him? She said, obviously, he was a bit like, oh, do I have to? And she said, and his friend, who he'd gone round to see, was a bit upset that he was going. But she said that they just said goodbye and they came along. I was like, that's perfect, because it's that transition piece where he gets upset the most and struggles with it. But that was really cool. I'm well happy with that. I forgot why I got onto that there. But so she couldn't go because she had to deal with that. She had to go take him to that was why. So I looked it up. It went really well. There's cool pictures. They're doing more. They're making a big noise about it. I thought it was worth mentioning because if you obviously live in a city where the national crisis protest people are and you want to be involved, then obviously you can be. I'm trying to look into what more we can do to try and help them. There is a petition, which, damn it, I was supposed to look up before I started recording. I'll put it in the comments if I can find it. If it's still live, it should be. But apparently it had over 12,000 signatures at this point to try and say to the government, come on, let's do something to try and make this better. I'm not saying that I'm going to suddenly become a really hyper-militant channel where I start doing videos about this all the time. Obviously, I want to support these things as much as I can and try and get some progress. But, you know, it's a lot going on at the moment, and I don't know if I'd have the time to really do it until after the fact, which is so ridiculous. I don't know what I'm saying really there. I just don't want you to think that. I don't want you to look at this and go, oh my God, it's just going to become someone who just stands there going nuts every video. But yeah, it's obviously a big deal. It's very close to our hearts. I had the discussion with work today about the fact that I needed Wednesday time as well as Monday time. They agreed the Monday time and said I could work from home. And then I mentioned to them about Wednesday today, and I was so nervous about bringing it up because I just felt like I'm taking the biscuit at this point. They were absolutely golden about it and said, we appreciate that you remotely acknowledge, you know, you shouldn't acknowledge this. You should just be getting on with what's right for you, but you have acknowledged that it's, you know, it's an extra thing we need to give you, but don't worry about it. It's fine. They were very, very cool about it. What I'm trying, you know, they were essentially just like, we appreciate your concerns and the fact that you worry and you care. Don't worry about it. Don't care about it. Just get on and do what you need to do. So I was very relieved. I'm so worried about kind of I mean, lots of people empathise with this. Just I can't find the right word. Overstating, being overburdensome on somebody else, I guess, is the thing. You don't want to make everyone bend around you, but equally you need them to. So it's like you can't win. And I know that that's me saying that as a parent trying to deal with the situation or whatever. I know it's a lot worse for people who actually are living it. Like Ollie's going to be having to do that, and it's not a burden, and it shouldn't ever feel that way. But I get lots of stuff where I think about, I don't want him having to feel like that himself. But I am completely feeling like it all the time myself because I'm trying to deal with it for him. It's weird. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Anyway, all's good other than that. I've obviously got the night off because everyone's in Wakefield and driving back from Wakefield. They won't be back till like 10, I imagine. So I'm just going to sit and drink beer and chill out. I'm so nervous about the football tomorrow, and not just the Champions League final. We've got we have the sales team versus the technical team every year. At my work summer barbecue, I'm in the sales team obviously, and we play football, and the sales team have never won, which is insane because we've been doing this. Well, I think it's this is the fourth one, which isn't that many, I know, but we've never won. We've always had a man down or some sort of silly handicap going on, and we haven't been able to kind of overcome it. But this year, I think we've got enough people. I'm going to ask us if we can shoot opposite ends because we always shoot the same way, and I don't know. Maybe that'll be the thing we need. Just we'll aim for the other goal, but I'm not particularly nervous about that. It's in my mind. I think I'm using it as a block for the Champions League final, which is stressing me out quite substantially. I'm not comfortable with the fact that Spurs are vying for the literally the biggest game in football. We won't win it. I'm convinced we won't win it. I'm absolutely not going to be gutted if we lose it because I respect that we got there. But oh my God, I'm still nervous about it. I can't help it. I'm just going to shut up about it. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've had a good week, and I probably won't do a video every weekend. If depending on how football goes, I'll do a video Sunday, I suppose. But it'll probably just be me crying and just whacking stuff off the table and flipping stuff and just being miserable. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.